Alright, before I get into this, I want to go ahead and say that yes, the thumbnail of this video may look a little bit clickbaity. So, as a quick summary, or TLDR, no, I don't think it's too expensive to play Marvel Crisis Protocol, though it may be a little bit at all. And if you want to know how I got to that, what the rest of the video is for. My name is Nate, and welcome to the game. The topic of the day is whether or not Marvel Crisis Protocol is too expensive, and really there are a lot of things to unpack, from comparing the cost of a box of minis from this game to other game systems, and the difference of what the price to play is compared to the price per mini and what those things mean. But to help make this game even more affordable to play in general, the guild sponsors, Tritex Games based in the UK and War Room Hobbies based here in Tennessee have some codes that will save you even more off of their already discounted prices. If you use the code TritexGGCP5 at checkout, you'll save an extra 5% off of Tritex's MCP selection, and if you're doing pre-orders, that saves you up to 25% with them. And if you check out at War Room Hobbies, you can use the code MCP2022 for an extra 10% off of your order, whether it is MCP, Legion, or whatever else you were into. So, if you're shopping online anyways, please consider using them as an option to support an LGS that is hosting events and game nights instead of a big warehouse company. They even now have up for pre-order the new Black Order packs and the Asgard pack. But if you are already shopping from your LGS, that's awesome, keep supporting them, we understand. But if you're wanting to find another way to support the guild's videos or podcasts, check out our Patreon page. For $1 a month or $12 in a year, you help us continue to put out content for this fantastic game. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention the monthly giveaway we have thanks to Tritex. All you need to do to enter is be subscribed to the channel and leave a comment on a video the same month that video was released. So a comment on multiple videos in the same month is really just multiple entries. Now, to start, I feel like I need to throw out some disclaimers because I'm really only able to talk about my experience with this game and collecting it and playing it. So, while I try to take into account multiple points of views from different players, I probably won't be covering all of them. So, my first point that I want to just kind of distinguish and kind of disclaim, I guess, and hope you consider, is that something that is expensive is relative, but that miniature gaming hobby as a whole can for the most part be considered a form of entertainment that is a luxury and not a necessity. There are certainly also parts of this hobby that are therapeutic and can help one's mental health. But where that is the case, I don't think you have to have Marvel Crisis Protocol minis to fit that need. There are a plethora of miniature ranges to build and paint from. With that in mind, I'm going to move forward in this discussion, looking at this question through the lens of Marvel Crisis Protocol being a form of entertainment or hobbying. Now, the average Marvel Crisis Protocol expansion consists of 2 characters for around $40. There are, of course, exceptions, but that will make my math a lot harder, so I want to stick with this baseline. So this means that it is about $20 per miniature, which can start to look pretty expensive at the dollar amount per character. So if we start comparing that breakdown to a box of Star Wars Legion minis that are made of the same material, it is much closer to $5 or $6 for a miniature. Games Workshop is a bit all over the place, with some 5-man squads being $50 and some 10-man squads being like $60. But for their current issue of Standard Space Marine, it's about $6 a mini. If you look at other systems that use different plastics, like a Song of Ice and Fire miniatures game, the average unit box is closer to $3 a mini in those boxes. But these aren't all a perfect comparison, because all of these boxes are ones that are expected to be bought multiple times by a single player. In Marvel Crisis Protocol, there are no game function reasons to buy multiples of the same expansion, which means that the cost of these boxes are higher because they aren't expecting to sell multiples of them to the same person. If we once again look at Star Wars Legion, individual character packs like Boba Fett or Anakin Skywalker are at $20 per box, reaching that same level as MCP. And if we look at Games Workshop, an individual model that isn't a named character but just a standard HQ is $38 for a single model. So the price per mini on average is a lot higher for Marvel Crisis Protocol across entire armies. I don't want to leave you with any thoughts to the contrary on that. But in general, skirmish level games with unique characters like Bushido, Riot Quest, Warhammer Underworlds, and others like them are generally more expensive per mini because the development time for each character takes, well, time. And probably time similar to the amount that would be spent on a unit of troops, whether that is Space Marines in Warhammer or some B1 battle droids in Legion. But those generic troopers are going to sell several more packs per player, which means that they're able to lower that cost because really the plastic and cardboard in these boxes is not the expensive part, it's the time spent developing them. So the price per mini is going to be more expensive on average because there's more time devoted into them, and there's just not going to be as big of a demand for them. But that's really not the price I am interested in as a player. So if you're a pure hobbyist, yeah, Marvel Crisis Protocol is pretty expensive if you're just looking to paint up some Marvel minis. Personally, though, I'm much more interested in what the price to play is. And by that, I mean how much it will cost a player to have enough models to put on the table and play a full-size game with a team that they want to. For Marvel Crisis Protocol, that price looks to me like a core set plus 3 or 4 expansions to get an affiliation that you want to play. So just using the flat MRSP, you would be looking at somewhere between $220 to $260 for a good starting force. And of course, over time, you can pick up more and more boxes to expand that one team, or to start pick up new teams that you could play. For instance, if you already had the boxes for Wakanda, you can very easily start looking at A-Force and be like, oh, well, if I just get She-Hulk, well, that's a whole other team that you're opening up to. If we then go and look at a game like Star Wars Legion, a common recommendation is 2 starter boxes plus maybe a new commander, and then probably a couple of boxes of additional elite troops to round out your team. This is of course foregoing some of the upgrade packs for the generic troopers or specialist packs, and so that cost would round out to be around $350 for just an Imperial army, for example. Warhammer, even with their discounted products like combat patrols, you'd be looking at over $450 to run a pretty bare-bones army. So when you start looking at MCP through the lens of how much it will cost to play, well, it's actually looking pretty good. If you start to look at other forms of entertainment or hobbies like video games, other kinds of crafts, or even exercise equipment and supplements, MCP's overall cost is still on the lower end. Now, this outlook changes drastically if you have the Ash Ketchum attitude like me and several others I know, where you have to try to collect everything or at least pretty darn close to it. As someone who has been collecting and playing since day one, that's not a perspective I have too much insight on. However, there isn't actually any need to go and collect every single pack on the market unless you really just want to, even if you're looking to build some of the more competitive lists out there. But I'm sure a new player who looks at MCP can still easily be overwhelmed by the choices, since any character can play with any other character on the table. But AMG has recently shown off something that has me extremely excited as an ambassador for the game, and that are the affiliation packs. Or at least what I hope is packs, because right now there's only the one. This affiliation pack comes with, as you might guess, multiple characters from the same affiliation, along with any cards that those characters originally came with, along with some bonus ones. In the case of this affiliation pack, all of the Infinity Gems that the characters can use instead of just one, and one new Team Tactic card that is coming with Black Swan and Supergiant anyways. But best of all is the new price point for the 4 characters. $59.99. The Ebony Maw and Black Dwarf pack alone was $49.99. So if this pack is anything to go on, it's going to be a great time to be a new player in Marvel Crisis Protocol, and also just a good time to maybe go back and look at affiliations that you hadn't picked up because of time or money, and now it's going to be just at a nice little bargain for you. But all in all, this new pack format is going to be making the game even more affordable, which is something I will never have a problem with. So that is my very long-winded way of going about saying, no, I don't think it's too expensive to play Marvel Crisis Protocol. Would I recommend trying to go out and get everything you want all at once? Absolutely not. But I think if you are looking to find a game to play that's a ton of fun, can very easily be added on to with additional expansions to open up your possibility of playstyles, and pretty affordable to do so, well, in that case, I think MCP is one of the best on the market right now for what it offers. And apparently that value is only going to be getting better with these new affiliation packs. I hope that my explanations made sense and might give you some points to bring up if you have anyone with cost reservations about getting into MCP over some of the other offerings out there. If you've enjoyed my thoughts and are new to the channel, consider hitting that subscribe button for a weekly dose of MCP content in the form of reviews, battle reports, and other MCP topics. As well, if you do subscribe and leave a comment, you'll be entered for a non-Ultimate Encounter MCP expansion giveaway, thanks to Tritex again. Also, if you're interested, you can find the Gamers Guild podcast on several different podcast apps and platforms. It's also down in the description of this video. Thank you all for watching, and until next time, keep on gaming.